For generations, the children of Israel toiled under the harsh sun of Egypt, their labor bricks in the monuments to another people's glory. They had known only chains, tasted only the bitterness of captivity, but even in the darkest night a promise flickered, passed down from parent to child, the promise of a God who had not forgotten them. He would raise up a deliverer, a man named Moses, to stand before Pharaoh and demand the freedom of his people. But Pharaoh's heart was hardened. So began a confrontation unlike any the world had seen. Imagine, if you will, that lifeline, the Nile River, a source of life, of sustenance, the very veins of Egypt, and turned to blood. The fish within it died. The stench of decay filled the air. Pharaoh, watching the river that was both his God and his sustenance corrupted, must have felt the first tremor of doubt. But pride, like a serpent, coiled around his heart, whispering that this was but some strange magic. The palace, a symbol of Pharaoh's power, became a prison of croaking, leaping chaos. Imagine frogs, countless as grains of sand, swarming from the Nile. They filled the streets, the homes, even the Pharaoh's bedchamber. They were in the ovens, in the kneading bowls, a living, hopping plague upon the land. The riveting chorus replaced the songs of their musicians. Still, Pharaoh remained unmoved. From the dust of the earth, a new torment arose. Lice. Tiny, insidious, they crawled upon man and beast alike. The wealthiest noble, draped in fine linens, found no escape. It was a plague of relentless itching, of maddening discomfort. And still, Pharaoh's heart, hardened by pride, refused to yield. The air thickened. A buzzing black cloud descended upon Egypt. Flies, in numbers beyond comprehension, swarmed the land. They blackened the sky, blotted out the sun. They were a reminder that even the air they breathed, the very elements of their world, were under his control. Yet Pharaoh, blinded by his arrogance, refused to see. This time the plague struck at the heart of Egypt's wealth, its livestock, the cattle, the sheep, the horses. Even the camels began to sicken and die. Fields that were once teeming with life lay littered with carcasses. Yet even as his own people suffered, Pharaoh remained defiant. From the ashes of the pyres built for the dead livestock, a new horror arose. Boils, painful and festering, erupted on the skin of the Egyptians. This plague struck at their vanity, their pride in their appearance. Yet Pharaoh, hardened by each successive plague, still refused to relent. The skies above Egypt, once the domain of their sun god Ra, now churned with the fury of the true god. Hailstones, unlike any they had ever seen, rained down upon the land. This was a display of raw power, a demonstration that their gods were powerless against the might of the God of Israel. Still, Pharaoh clung to his pride, his heart a fortress against the storm of God's wrath. The sun, finally emerging from behind the storm clouds, revealed a new horror. Locusts, a living blanket of darkness, descended upon Egypt. They devoured everything that the hail had spared. This was a plague of utter devastation, a stripping away of everything they held dear, yet Pharaoh, blinded by his stubborn heart, refused to see the light. A darkness deeper than night, thicker than any storm cloud, enveloped Egypt. For 3 days and 3 nights the sun refused to shine. This was a darkness that mirrored the blindness of their hearts, a darkness that spoke of a world without the light of God. Still, Pharaoh, his heart a hardened knot of defiance, clung to his power even in the face of oblivion. The final plague, the most terrible, struck at the very heart of Egypt. At midnight, a silence fell over the land, broken only by the sound of weeping. For in every Egyptian home, from the humblest peasant's hut to the pharaoh's palace, the firstborn son lay dead. The cries of his own household, the lifeless form of his own son, finally shattered the wall around his heart. The 10 plagues were not mere acts of destruction, they were pronouncements of justice. They were a testament to the power of the one true God, a God who would not stand idly by while his people suffered. They were a message written in fire and blood, in darkness and despair. Let my people go. And finally, Pharaoh let them go. He watched as the Israelites, freed from their chains, walked out of Egypt, carrying with them the promise of a new life. The story of the 10 plagues is a timeless reminder that power, true power, resides in the hand of God, a God who hears the cries of the oppressed.